Hey, Bucketheads, what's up? It's Joe with that CBB DFS, and Bird is with me today. How you doing, buddy?
Joseph, how we doing, my friend?
Not too bad. Hey, we're going to do things a little different. As you can see, I'm presenting the CBB-DFS.com webpage where people get our weekday content in written form Mondays through Friday. Looks pretty good. Bill Self smiling back at us. Kansas has a big game tonight. How you feeling?
I feel good. I think Kansas should take care of business tonight. And their pricing was actually pretty good on DraftKings too, so we can even get a piece of it.
Nice. And nothing like TCU to kind of cure your ills for a while in the Big 12.
Yeah, that's for sure. Self said he wants to shake some things up, so we'll see probably some more DeJuan Harris and hopefully some open shots. Maybe Jalen Wilson will actually make a basket or two even.
But I tell you what, we're doing this, though, not necessarily to cover Kansas or the Big Ten game. What we want to do with this video is we want to run through the layout of the site for just the YouTube-only crowd that's come on board lately, show them a little bit about what the .com has to offer. As always, you can find us on Twitter at CBB_DFS. That's where we are on a daily basis. But the website's great for weekday content. The podcasts are great for Saturday slates. And every now and then we pop up on YouTube for one-offs like the showdown tonight with Memphis and SMU that I covered, and then there's a two-game Pac-12 late slate, and Bird, we brought you on for your expertise with that one as well. So let me run through the slide if that's okay first. Normally we start with an image and a GIF. We like to have fun on the site. This GIF reflects my lineup construction as of late. So after that, you'll get into our games, and they'll be stacked by over-under from the lowest total on the slate to the highest total on the slate. The time will be when the game tips here. For purposes now, like I said, we're going to pass over on Michigan State and Rutgers and the Kansas game, but we will be watching, keeping an eye on them. Those are written up for the main slate. But first, if it's all right with you, Bert, I want to focus on this showdown that's out there.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, it's a $5 deal. It's $5. I think the winner pays 60, so that's 12x, right? 12 to 1. 118 slots are available for it. Memphis is a team that's popped up on slates a little more recently. Southern Methodist, we saw a lot last year, but we haven't seen much this year. My write-up, I'm not going to read it verbatim to you, but I'll just kind of recap it in verbal diarrhea form. Does that sound okay?
I like that.
Musa Cisse has been awesome. He's a shot blocker extraordinaire. He's really one rebound away from having a double-double in 3 straight games. He's $7,000, which is most of the Memphis guys. He's pretty limited offensively. You're talking about if he's outside of 1 foot from the rim, he's probably not going to get you much, but he's a shot blocking machine. He rebounds like a beast. And in the last couple of games, they've made it a point to give him opportunities at the rim. So at 7,000 in a showdown, Bird, is he not offensively enough gifted for you to play in a showdown?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's really going to be about that blocking that he's going to need to get there, or, somehow sneak into a double-double. But you're right. I think he's a little bit offensively limited, which is concerning.
At least for that captain spot. Definitely someone you can keep on your roster, but maybe not a captain. Yep. For me, I like my captains to be a little more consistent, which leads us to those more cash options in a regular tournament. For me, that's DeAndre Williams, Keonis, and Alex Lomax for Memphis. They're all pretty steady from a minutes perspective, but as we mentioned in the article, Penny goes deep into his bench. He'll ride the hot hand. Those 3, though, are pretty consistent on minutes and the production while they're on the floor. Williams would probably be my favorite of those 3 if you're looking for a captain at 6,200 on the main slate. I don't have the translation now to captain, but that's who I'd look for. Landers Nolly is their best scorer. He's not in the best shooting form right now, but he is their best scorer. He's going to get up his shots. They just got to be dropping down. I like him, again, not as a captain, but someone you can definitely fit into your showdown lineups. On the SMU side, these 2 teams played on Tuesday. Memphis won that game 76-72, and Kendrick Davis was held to around 20 DK. That snapped a string of 4 games in a row where he had 40 DK or more. And that's really good production, especially at a captain spot. So his prices come down a little bit. I'm going to try to make him my captain in my showdown lineup tonight and then see what pieces I can get around him. Normally on these unknown teams, it's pretty easy to build a showdown lineup. And I think there's a lot of diversity you can build between the 2 different teams with the mid-tier and even lower priced options. Some of the other SMU guys of note, Ethan Chargos, that's someone from last year who we probably all remember. Big rebounder, good interior scorer. His minutes have been around 20 a game for the last two, so I don't love him. I prefer Farron Hunt, who's a little more consistent for a little bit higher price. There's a new name that we'll get to know, and that's Emmanuel Bandumel. I apologize if I'm off on that name, but this is a guy playing 30 minutes a game and getting 12 points. So if he does anything from a rebound, steal, or assist standpoint, he's going to cruise to 4x. I like his price in the showdown. And then another name you might remember from last year, Bird, is Tyson Jolly. He was a starter last year. He missed the first half of really every game until 2 games ago with dealing with some personal issues, but he's rejoined the team. He's gotten 19 and 21 minutes in his first 2 games back. And in his last game, he had 15 against Memphis. So Jolly averaged 14 and a half and 6 last year. So at 4,600 in the main tournament and at a cheap price, I think it was 52 in the showdown. I really like getting a piece of Tyson Jolly as you make those builds. Anything I left out there or any showdown strategies you want to throw out to the Bucketheads?
No, I like that. I think you talked about Kendrick Davis, and I like a home team. That's the favorite. Even though he's the most expensive option, I still think he's probably got the highest floor of all the options as well. So I think that makes sense. And with Tyson Jolly being kind of cheap, I think he's a really nice fit into the puzzle there. And then if you're also desperate, Yor Anai is a guy from Oklahoma State who's playing, 15 to 20 minutes, but can block some shots here. And on the showdown slate, he's only 5,000. So he could be another cheap piece as well. So overall, yeah, I like it, Joe. Really good write-up and makes a lot of sense.
Let's move into your neck of the woods, though, and talk about this late slate. There is an $8 late slate with 110 entries up in it. That's going to pay out $150 to first. I know last Saturday when we were out having a couple Ted Weisers, I had a little $100 late slate. And, it's not going to change your life, but it's nice to get a W under your belt and see that first every now and again. So that was fun for us, and that was a humble brag for me. Thought I'd squeeze that in there. Can you start?
Very well placed there, Joe.
Thank you. Humble brag, a little self back pat for those watching.
I love it.
Hey, now the reason why we got you here helping us out is because Stanford's still missing a ton of their team. Can you talk a little bit about what Stanford looks like right now?
They look like they're missing 3 starters, which is never good. Dejan Davis is their point guard and really best defender is out. Bryce Wills is out, and then Zaire Williams, the stud 5-star forward, is also out. They did not travel with the team at all. So really it puts the burden on Oscar da Silva to kind of do everything. I know he's really, really high priced, but everything's going to have to run through him. As long as he can avoid foul trouble, there's no reason to think he's not going to have 30+% usage tonight.
Yeah, Da Silva's kind of a beast. He was their main usage guy prior to all these people out. Now when you lose those ancillary players, it just kicks up a peg, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Now behind them, is there value then?
I think there is. Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of value, probably more value on the Stanford side than anywhere else you're going to probably find on the late slate, especially. Jaden Delaire has played really well lately, scoring the basketball. I think he'll be their second option on offense. Spencer Jones has had 5x in 3 of his last 4 games. He's going to play more minutes. O'Connell's going to start at point guard, and he's probably doesn't have as high of a ceiling as the other players, but he's fine. And then Lucas Kasunas is going to start down in the forward. He can rebound. He can bang down low. And I think he played like 30 minutes last game with again, these 3 players that were out last game. So they have a really short bench. They kind of are going to they'll only be able to play 5 or 6 guys. So I do think there's a lot of value there. These guys are going to play. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to see Kasunas and Jones and Delaire play 30+ minutes tonight for pretty cheap.
On a late slate, where it's just the 2 games, you get a couple of these guys in your lineup, and all of a sudden you can pick from all the studs. And taking that 8K for 8.7 for Silva doesn't seem all that bad.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Joe. Yep.
How about the Arizona side? I see Akinjo's at 8,200, but he's in pretty good form.
He's in great form. Yeah, Akinjo's played really well lately. I think he's averaging over 4x at that 8,200 price point, so averaging over 32 DK points a game. I think with Dejan Davis is out of the lineup. He's a lockdown defender, so I think that helps Akinjo as well. Yeah. So I like that a lot. We need to keep an eye out on Benedict Mathurin. He's got an ankle injury. They said it wasn't severe, but in a game where Stanford's missing a lot of players, do you really want to force him back, or do you want to let him rest until the weekend? If he does not play, Dalen Terry becomes very, very viable. He's a freshman, athletic player, pretty good, solid player. Terrell Brown, his usage has really increased as well lately. He's a guy who averaged 20 points per game when he played for Seattle. He's a transfer guy who can score the ball. Didn't have a lot of usage to begin the year, but has really stepped it up lately. His price is up as well. So that's a little discouraging. But if Mathurin misses again, I think Brown becomes viable. And then Tubulis, Joe, I know you like him down low.
I do.
He's a guy that's really taken over for Jordan Brown.
I liked him too.
He can make shots. He's a good athletic kid.
Is he a freshman, that Tubulis?
Yeah, yep, he is. He's him and his brother, I think, came from overseas and are both on the team. But he's captured that starting spot down low. Jordan Brown's only playing 15, 20 minutes a game right now. Right. That's a former 5-star that he just took his time from. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, and Jordan Brown, speaking of that 15, 20 minutes, he's still somewhat productive. Would you recommend, or probably shy away from, better to go get the value on the Stanford side, who's going to get more minutes?
Yeah, I think it's safer to go get the minutes on the Stanford side, which, is a little scary, right? Because Arizona is probably going to win this game. They're going to end up scoring more points. So Brown's a guy who's burned me in the past. I'm probably maybe a little biased to that he could burn again, but he pops up with a 30 burger every once in a while as well. So he's one of those boom or bust kind of GPP options if you want to be a little bit contrarian.
I like that. Now you said Brown's kind of burn you. Tubulis has been awesome for me every time I've played him, so I have a bias in the other direction there. But I'm gonna acknowledge it and keep it in the back of my mind, so I don't just auto click the button. This is a 2-game slate though, and we got another game. This is Cal at Arizona State. In the scheme of the entire night, this is the highest over under, but it's just 144. It's not much different than the one above. And this is that last tip. I like that last tip heat. So at 10 o'clock, Bird, I know you're kind of angry with Arizona State as a fan and with your expectations where they were to start the season. How's your thoughts on them tonight?
I think it's going to be a really interesting game. They look horrible in my opinion. I mean, you if they could put 3 basketballs out on the court, I think they'd be a really good team.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you can only play with one, and they don't play defense. So in real life, it's great for DFS. In real life, they don't play defense. They have a bunch of ball hogs. Like they're super annoying. I don't think Hurley's done a good job at all, and they really miss Romello White. Like that. God, Could you imagine him on that team? Would be a lot better. But Remy Martin's played better lately, so he's starting to get shots. You can see him get frustrated out there when he doesn't get the ball. But he is probably forcing more shots lately, which probably helps from a DFS perspective. Christopher and Verge have both not played as well lately. So the good news with that is that their price has gone down. So I think they're both pretty live, like tournament options as a lower price, a better point to, maybe get that 4 or 5x from them, especially Verge, a guy we've seen hit 40 DK before, consistently last year. So, and then Jalen Graham stepped up down in the post, but he is, he's just a guy, right? We talk about that. He's just a guy. Marcus Bagley for $500 less than Jalen Graham, I think is a no brainer. If you want to get one of the forwards in from Arizona State. But those are really the key guys there. The majority of them are kind of boom or bust. Cal's going to play as slow as they can. And so the pace is going to be a little bit slower than Arizona State would prefer.
Yeah, I'm probably looking Bagley over Graham just because I'll play talent over, recent form most any day. I do have a special place for Verge, but I've also hit on Christopher a couple of times. He has very much the ability to go off, not in the best shooting form right now, but he's not shy about getting up his shots.
Oh yeah, he'll take 15 plus shots. They'll be, half of them won't be good shots, but
no.
He'll rack them.
There's no negative point scoring though for bad shots.
There is not. They're a team full of bad shots. So, but yeah, they are good tournament options. And I agree with Bagley as well as a nice value play.
So Matthew Bradley for Cal, that's smash the play button in all formats, right?
I think so. This is a guy that's traditionally priced around 8,000 and deservedly so. Primary usage player on that offense, sits above 30 DK on the season. Came back from an ankle injury, played 22 minutes. I think he's just a no-brainer in all formats at 5,700. Antisevich, his price has jumped up a little bit. I still think he's their best post scorer and rebounder. But at 6,600, that price scares me just a little bit. Joel Brown. So Joel Brown was like the Canadian Player of the Year. So it was RJ Barrett one year, and then Joel Brown was the next year. And so he's got talent. He's a good player, and his usage has increased a little bit lately. But traditionally, he's just been kind of a lower usage guy. I think I have on here, he's only hit 5X twice in 17 games this season.
Yeah.
So
if he were to pick your pocket, would he say he's sorry? That's my candid joke. They're nice people. What can I say?
They are. That was wow. Nice job.
You got Andre Kelly.
Listeners will like your jokes. Andre Kelly, his usage has gone down a little bit with Antisevich back. And then they have a bunch of guards. They have Foreman. They have Betley, who's just kind of a 3-point spot up shooter. They have Hyder, who came from Fresno State. Mm-hmm. But
if you were to pick one to get hot in this game, come on.
Foreman, I guess, has probably shown the most. The really deep cut, and I can't even say it, is Betley, because he actually, like against Arizona State, you're going to get a lot of open looks. I would never play him ever, but I could see him having a bunch of wide open threes tonight. I'm not saying play him, but
no.
I would rather go to the Stanford value if you're looking for some cheap plays.
Right.
But in theory, against Arizona State, up tempo game, bad defense, you'd want to try to find some Cal plays. Matthew Bradley, lock it in. And then the other ones, it just kind of depends on your risk tolerance.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, that kind of wraps up the showdown slate for the little 2-game night slate. I'm sorry. That's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're going to be up late tonight, maybe having a cold one, why not put a little lineup together and try to win yourself $150? Now, we are going through the site here. As you can see at the end of our ladder, once we've got all the games done, we do our prize picks. Those are at the bottom. Each of us submit one every night. Matt Bradley, we just talked about. He was Bird's pick today. Timmy for James. And then I went with RJ Nemhard. We give you a little blurb of why we think they'll go over or under their points. But that's there on a weekly basis or on a weekday basis. We also tweet it out on Saturdays at CBB_DFS.com. So if you haven't been out to the site, definitely check us out. The website has the dash, so it's CBB-DFS.com. We have our written content come out Monday through Friday, podcast Friday night, drops on Saturday, and we normally take some time off for the weekends to be with our families. Bird, did I miss anything? Prize picks. Speaking of prize picks, we do have a promotion going with them. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, you can get 100% deposit match by using promo code CBB DFS, or if you also want to scroll through some of our tweets, we've got a link out there as well. Just click on that link, 100% deposit match. Again, using CBB DFS as your code. Fun, super easy to play. We also have a donate tab that I think you can see there on the site there in yellow. If you'd like to donate to us, we'll use that to invest in the business. I mean, what else we got, Joe? We'll have a podcast coming out this weekend, obviously, like we always do. We'll record that tomorrow night.
And the only thing left to do is win all the money. Now, the prize pools we talked about tonight aren't going to be life-changing or anything. But, hey, if you want a little bit, if you have an itch and you want to scratch it, we're just here to give you some more information. Check our written content out tomorrow. Look for the podcast tomorrow night. Win as much money as you can over the weekend. And we'll be back at it. We'll be back at it soon. We good?
Yeah.
All right.
Good job.
Bye, Bucketheads. Thank you.